Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my September TBR. I almost said haul, then my brain tried to tell me it was my wrap-up video for September, but September just started, and let's get into it. This is going to be like a weird mix of like a reread month and then also not a reread month. I'm saying that because, well, if you guys don't know, I like to reread books like every few months, primarily because sometimes it gets too exhausting to like shove myself into new worlds every single time, and I realized that about in the middle of August that I was like kind of trudging through books. I was like, you know what, we need to reread some faves. However, I stupidly decided to start The Secret History by Donna Tartt, so that's why I said it's going to be a semi-reread month. But going off of that, the first book... Are you fucking kidding me? The first book that I am reading this month, going off of what I had said initially, is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is an adult fiction novel that's based around a random group of kids during their, I believe, their master's course, and they get really obsessed with things, and things happen, and someone dies, and it's like a weird thriller mystery leading up to the fact that we don't know who had died. We were just told in the prologue that someone is now deceased. I am about 100 or so pages into this book, and I'm enjoying it to a point. I like the writing. I think it's really nice and flowery. It really shows kind of Donna Tartt's prowess as a writer, as well as like the characters. However, the main protagonist, the only point of view that we get in this entire book, he's like a wet rag. He's just so boring, and like he gets interesting at some points, but then you remember that you're holding a wet rag, and it's no longer interesting. But I will let you guys know on my thoughts once I, get more into the book and when I finish the book for my review. The next book that I'm reading should come as no surprise because I reread the first book to this series a long time ago, and it's been necessary that I go ahead and reread the series again. And that is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series, and it's by far one of my favorite series ever, if you guys can't tell by the Shadowhunter shelf. Granted, we don't have Shadowhunter Funko Pops, so I'm doing the best that I can with my self-sacrificial idiots and my fighting badass women, but it's fine. Essentially, the second book follows directly after the events of the first book, where we have found Clary's mom, and she and Jace are siblings, and we're going back into that state of, am I really shipping incest right now? Which, if you've read the books or heard about it, the answer is no. I'm really excited to get back into it. I don't remember how I felt about the second book, if I'm being completely honest. The third book is one of my favorite books out of the entire series, but I don't remember much about the second book because it's been so long since I reread it, but I'm excited nonetheless. The next book is actually not another reread, but I seem to do this every time I reread series or books for a month. I pick up one of these books, and that is Percy Jackson Olympians, The Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan. This is the fourth book in the Percy Jackson series, and you guys, Percy's a freshman. I forgot that Percy's technically my age, so wowza. But he's a freshman in high school, and he didn't think life would kind of turn out this way. He didn't think he knew that he'd have to save the world again, but he probably didn't want it to happen during his freshman orientation. So, I'm really excited to pick this book up. I can't wait to see what antics Percy gets into, as well as trying to remember the fact that these books came out around the same time that I was going through middle school and high school. I think the first book came out when I was in 6th grade, and Percy was in 7th, so it's weird because he's all grown up now, but I'm watching him grow up through the books, but he's my age, and it's a weird time for me here. And the last books is actually a series, an incomplete series, and it's books 1 through 9, and they're all bound up, and that is The Night World by L.J. Smith. I have the first book, the second book, oh that's bent, and the third book. But since they're all pretty thicky, I'm going to hold up the first book because that's one of my favorite books out of the entire series. So if you guys don't know L.J. Smith or haven't heard of her, she is the writer of the Vampire Diaries, or the original writer before it turned into ghostwriting. She also wrote The Secret Circle, which is also another big CW favorite. But The Night World is one of my personal favorites by her. I read this back in middle school, and as you can tell by the really old pages, and the really kind of weird smell, and the bends and the covers and everything, I've had this for a while. I think since I was in high school or middle school. But this is the first 3 books in the series, and we have the second 3, then the third 3. And essentially what this book series consists of is that this world is not like our own. It's a modern day world, modern day setting, but there is a secondary world that lives within our own, which includes vampires, witches, ghosts and ghouls, werewolves, shapeshifters, and hunters. And we follow these characters as we go through, and as we dive deeper into the books, we find out that there's actually a huge plot that will either end or save the world given these characters. And I haven't read this in so long. It's actually one of my favorite guilty pleasure reads. If you don't know that about me, you know now. It's just so corny and cliche that I love every single minute of it. And I just love the, like, I have a thing for all of the characters in these series. Like, I'm pretty sure if I hadn't found, like, sexual attraction to other, like, fictional characters that were women and men, I probably would have found it in this book, which makes a lot of sense thinking about it. But I'm excited to get back into it, and I'm still really sad that I don't know what's going to happen, because L.J. Smith has yet to have ever released the last book. She has had medical complications, so if you guys have heard any kind of news surrounding this last book, I would like to know, because I have been waiting for the series finale since I was, like, 14, and I'm sure other people who have been waiting for the series finale since, like, the last book came out in, like, what, 92? Or something like that, would also like to know, so please let me know. But that is it for my TBR. Not a huge TBR per se, but it's a very nice one where I can, like, just kind of weave in and out of a world and not have to worry about anything. But if you guys want me to do any kind of review, I think I'll be doing a series, quote unquote, because it's not done yet, review on the Night World, because, you know, it's a nice place for me to return to. But if you want me to do, like, currently reading in any of these other books, or maybe some other fun thing of this book, let me know. I will try my best to kind of accommodate. But until next time, which will be my why did I say October? Where am I? It will be my August wrap up. I will talk to you guys everywhere else. So, bye!